crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
What is up, everybody? Everybody's back in the house. Hello, everybody. My background looks the way this case feels to me. Like just a bunch of leads and things that aren't, and that and this everywhere, all over the place. So, welcome, everybody. I know I'm late, but I'm late because, well, I was on the other live stream. So, new member Sherry, what's up? And there's a couple other people that showed up from the last one, but I want to say hello to everybody as we start. We were really deep into that episode and it lasted longer, but that was awesome because we had Toddy one that did the actual interview. We had Bree on there, and we all got to show her some love. I appreciate you all that have complete and utter respect for Bree, who is a grieving mother seeking justice in all forms. And we all know now that, it's come out, it's in the news that she will be filing an action suit against whoever it is that's responsible. She knows the details. That's her story to tell. Jay, you're on it. Wow, thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you, Bobby J. Thank you, Laura. Number 48. Don't. Yeah, tap the like button, folks. Just tap it once. Everybody's back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what we're going to start with really here today, I'm listening to 3 lives at the moment. Wow, you're busy, Sadie's mama. And Jojo, it's nice to see you with a wrench. So, Carly's back. I'm sure Bree is here. The other Bree. There's Gothic Bree, which is our mod. I got a little confusing in that one. So we got Gothic Bree, we got Davey, we got Carly, and now we have Jojo. You know her as a new moderator. So hello. As you come in, we are talking about Sebastian Rogers, and this is a no drama channel. We don't want drama here at all. So Sebastian Rogers is still missing. What's today? 6/10/24. We're going to mark that because every other channel is talking about this, but there's so much drama. There's a cease and desist. I just have to read that to you because I know that I know all the drama that's going on. Neighbor speaks out is the biggest deal now. The cease and desist was before. What's up, Enid? So what I want to do is, and you are too, Dion Peel. Thank you. Yeah, no drama. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have cease and desist. I do want to show that just so you know. And you probably already know because it's on every single station, everywhere. It's unbelievable. I'm trying to see now. Bree sent it to me, and I wanted to read it to you just because I wanted to read it and show it to you. The cease and desist that I think 70 or more people received. Interesting. I have way too many emails to even find that for some reason. Okay, well, y'all know there's a cease and desist, and as you come in, no drama. And I do want, Adam, I want you to hear my thoughts and my take on this case as I go. If Bree comes back, she can forward that to me. I believe she sent me all that, and I have the cease and desist, but where is it? That's the question. Sharing there's just so many things that I get emailed a day. I can't find it. So what I'm going to start off with is real live things. And hello to everybody. Colleen, going back to Bree's case, I believe New Jersey has a 30-year look back law. Okay, there you go. So that's what I was talking about. If people come forward and you get a handful or two handfuls of people, that's plenty of time. Christopher Greger could have been doing that since he's the time he was a teenager. If enough women come forward, we're going to have another case against him, and we're gonna lock him up for even longer. Okay, so today we're talking about Sebastian Rogers, and there's so many things to talk about. But what I'm going to start with, this is just a complete utter. At this point, it has become drama. So what I'm going to start with today is the last thing that the news talked about, and Nick Barris, I follow him closely. He's News 5 from Tennessee. All right. So let's put that out there. I know everybody else is talking about this. Let me show this. This was 7 days ago. We hit the 100-day milestone since Sebastian Rogers disappeared. And all we're doing at this point is just
make no mistake, Sebastian.
We're just filling up YouTube with drama, call-ins, people saying, I got a cease and desist, but I'm not going to stop. And really, it's not doing any good. It's just hindering the progress of the case for real leads that could be coming in. So my take today is no drama. I'm only going to report on things that have relevance. And that's why you're not going to see me on Sebastian too much.
Rogers missing is not yet a cold case. The TBI, along with the FBI and the Sumner County Sheriff, tell me that it remains an active case. But authorities also say they are no closer to solving the mystery of what happened to Sebastian. In recent weeks, the most recent tip that turned out to be nothing was this photograph taken at a visitor center in North Carolina. That lookalike teen was identified and confirmed not to be Sebastian. Since then, things have been quiet.
We're doing everything we can do. Every time a tip comes in, we follow up on it.
Eric Craddock is chief deputy with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and heads up the investigation. 100 days since Sebastian disappeared is a milestone, but Craddock says no one is giving up. Unfortunately, the number of tips or potential sightings reported have gone down in recent weeks. There are no more random search efforts by authorities, but based on the investigation and search efforts to date, they do have a body of work to review.
I think in the absence of information, what we'll continue to do is go back over everything we've already done once, put a fresh set of eyes on it.
Maybe someone with a fresh outlook will notice something in the search area that others have missed. In the meantime, Craddock says they keep in touch with Sebastian's parents, who continue to cooperate, having talked to them just this past week. Everyone is frustrated over the lack of new leads, which unfortunately still result in crazy conspiracy theories.
Oh, the rumor mill on social media has done nothing to advance this case.
When something significant does happen, we will hear about it first from authorities, not from armchair detectives on social media. For now, investigators say all options remain on the table, including the possibility still of foul play. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
All right, folks. So let me get into what I think. I don't know what this is doing here, but we're going to stop this for a second. Okay. Let's see what happened. Okay, so we are going to talk about that in a minute, but do I think he's alive any longer? Hold on. No. I think Sebastian is no longer with us, and I think that this should be looked at as a criminal case. I don't know why nothing has been announced yet, and I don't understand why the three people that shouldn't be letting Sebastian down are absolutely letting him down. TikTok Tony also accidentally showed his little teeny tiny Tony on TikTok while discussing Sebastian. Yeah, this whole case is nuts because it's just getting jammed up with misinformation, and now people fighting, asking for money, misappropriating money. Davey says there's some indications that he might still be alive. That's fantastic. I say, let's say a prayer for Sebastian that he comes home safe, if that's the truth, if that's the case. Fantastic. I've said that at the 30-day mark that I don't think that we're looking for a boy that's alive. We're looking for an angel. And yeah, we're Sebastian strong. And I wish his parents were doing the same thing, because I was totally, and you could hear my tense. I was totally backing Seth and empathizing with him as a father that was just going to get his son. He was about to get him. He was going to come move and live with him. And then this happened. And now what's happening is just utter madness that's getting us nowhere. That would be the best case scenario and would be amazing. But why is all this going on? What is the purpose of the families fighting with each other, making up, hiring PIs, firing PIs? Yeah, how long has it been? I just played that clip. It hit the 100-day mark 7 days ago. It's either that or they haven't been told to not look at social media and YouTube for a while. Interesting. It's either that. Yeah, I don't know what the other part of it was. I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but if you ship somebody off to behavioral camp, you can't do that. Blah blah blah. You can't have the whole world looking for your son while you shipped him off to behavioral camp, and you're wasting a bunch of resources and police efforts. There's just no way that you can do that without going to jail and facing consequences. Evening, glad to see you. Glad to see you. For everybody that didn't get to catch me earlier, Sebastian Rogers disappeared the same day as Madeline Soto, February 26th. She was found, I believe, 3 days later. I'm not into conspiracy theories. There are conspiracies that happen, but that's a big stretch. It's a crime. Sadie's mama says, and it's true, it's a crime that you would send someone away and let the whole world look for them, say prayers, give money, and do all the things we're doing. And you absolutely just complete and utter crime. So that being said, there's a cease and desist. I don't even want to have a copy of that at all. Absolutely a crime. We don't know it's a stretch. That's my opinion, Davey. I say it's a stretch because it's still a crime no matter what. Either way, we're looking at a crime. If Sebastian they sent him away somewhere, then the parents that sent him are getting locked up. It's a crime. If he's missing because they did something with him, it's a crime. The only way it's not a crime is if he walked out of that door by himself and somebody else did something to him, and then it's still a crime because somebody did something. So all the way around, you look at it, it's a crime. So we don't know it's a stretch, and everybody's opinions matter. My opinion is what I'm telling you is that I don't think that he's no longer here on this earth with us. Something happened to him. He passed away, and we're now looking for a body. Sorry, hit that enter button. Or the Proudfoots and Seth don't quit. They come across as intelligent people and don't quite understand how YouTube and social media works. No, they obviously don't understand because they're making things worse. Kidnapping is a crime. Murder is a crime. Hiding people is a crime, and letting people waste resources is a crime. So yeah, the government did it. Sorry, I just don't buy that. Yeah, none of that stuff. That's not even legal to behavioral modification to send somebody away. You could do that, but you can't send them away and then call the cops and tell them that your child's missing and let the entire world look for your child. So, did you hear what I just said? You can't send your kid anywhere and then call 911 or anywhere, whoever you want to call in, phone a friend, say my child's missing after you're the one that sent them away. That's a huge crime, and you got to have a lot of restitution for that. You're correct. You can't use police resources, manpower on a ruse. In fact, law enforcement can charge you for that. And then on top of that, we're wasting time on cease and desist orders that aren't even real. If someone would email me that cease and desist, please, So I don't have a copy of it. I know I thought Gothic Bree sent it to me, but I have 500 emails, and I I had it. I just can't find it right now without stopping and being able to talk to you. So there's a cease and desist. It is stamped. There's the letterhead from a lawyer, and I'll just show you. I'll just show you all that because well, it's illegal. Yeah, everything's illegal. Jay, I'm glad to see you're here. How are you? I'm doing just fine today. Thank you for asking. So, you think the parents did something to him? I think the parents know what happened to him, Crystal. Yeah, I've been covering this case, and the last person to see Sebastian Rogers alive was Katie Proudfoot. She was with him at the roadhouse since she was the last person to see him alive, and then she says he was home. She heard a thud, boom. She swears he walked out of the front door. Do I think they did something to him? I think they know what happened. There's no other way that they can. It's with search careers. Thank you. I appreciate that. I believe Seth has lost his psychological issues with stemming from insecurities and past hurt, and a couple with lack of knowledge in this area. Yeah, I was behind him, Jenny. I was, and it's not that I'm not behind him, but I don't want to talk about him because I don't want him to, for some reason, send some cease and desist and even have to deal with that. So right now I'm talking about Sebastian Rogers is still missing, and we're at 106 days of him missing. Hit that like button so we can get this out there and knock out the conspiracy theories that I do not believe in. I don't believe that this case is a conspiracy theory. I believe conspiracy theories exist. The reason I say Katie knows everything is because she's the last person to have seen him. Yeah, where's Carl? You're always fair, Jay. These people were saying things that were not true. Absolutely. And we've played many videos over and over and over. Feel bad for the Proudfoot, seemingly drunk, often goes off of PIs, goes off on, and Adam, you just summed up the entire show of everybody that's covering the Sebastian case right now. Let me read this again. Feel bad that Proudfoot is seemingly drunk, often goes off on PIs, goes off on commentators, and then makes this whole thing worse. And then I think about what that boy had to put up with. F that guy. I was behind him, but things have changed. You took the words out of my mouth. Katie and Chris' actions are generated from pure hatred and wrong. Different animals, in my opinion. KJ, I got you. What do you think the neighbors believe? Well, we're going to watch that. We're going to talk about that together. Last person to see him like Stearns. Last person to see him like Stearns. Last person to see him like lots of parents, like Summer Wells' mom, Candace. I should probably go on and on. I should give you a whole list of people and their parents that were the last person to see him. So instead of doing that, let me do this. I always love.
Hello. JLR Investigates. Come on in, everyone.
I'm not going to do that one yet. Okay. Only because that annoys me. I don't know if you could hear that because I wasn't sharing it, but I'm going to start off with this. All right. The text message from Chris Proudfoot to Seth Rogers, and this is 16 hours ago. And then we're going to talk about the neighbors, and that is really the only real piece of evidence. Other than that, it's PIs and the cease and desist and a bunch of nonsense.
Sebastian Rogers' case has been filled with drama and speculation. Sadly, there are no updates from law enforcement, and we don't know if they are any closer to get answers in this case. In recent events, the Proudfoot's neighbor spoke up, sharing some very interesting information about the flashlight video, saying that she believes it's not the trash truck, also mentioning an unidentified car parked in her street. If you're following this case, then I definitely think you should check out that interview on JLR's channel. Anyway, I want to talk about some.
And guess what, folks? We're going to do that today. So everybody start settling in, put your comments up. I don't believe that this is a hoax either. I don't believe anybody's hiding anybody. And I don't believe that Katie saw Sebastian walk out of the front door without any shoes that night. Okay. So, yeah, I love the Evil Exist channel. It's just straight to the point, cut through the BS. So we're going to play this clip and then we're going to talk about the neighbors.
Something that stood out to me, but we haven't really discussed it here. On the morning that Katie went to Sebastian's room and realized that he is not in there, she called her husband Chris. They then three-wayed law enforcement. Chris sent a text to Seth, telling him not to be upset or mad, but Sebastian is missing. Can you believe that? My jaw dropped when I heard about this text actually. Firstly, why was Seth not asked if he heard from Sebastian or if Sebastian was with him? Why tell Seth not to be mad instead of asking him if he's heard of seen Sebastian? I'm struggling to understand this behavior. Could it be the same reason the Proudfoots never attended vigils or searched anywhere except around their house? Do they know exactly what happened to Sebastian, so there was no point to ask Seth if he heard from or saw Sebastian? Many are wondering why Katie didn't make a call to Seth to inform him of what was going on. Why did she leave it to Chris Proudfoot? Seth actually called
Right.
Katie out in a recent conversation he had online. He said Sebastian's own mother is not even looking for him. He also talked about when his channel goes up and he starts to put things on members only, he is going to get a whole bunch of negative attention, but he needs funds for.
So that's another thing too. He's putting up a channel. I think he put it up and then he took it down, and then he's saying that he is only going to do interviews for money, which makes no sense because people are looking for his son. So it really makes no sense at all. And neighbors always know. I don't know why they didn't speak up before, or maybe they did. Yeah, the neighbor that's speaking JR doesn't live there. Near her, she is reporting what was told to her, not the actual neighbor. Okay, and that's the closest piece of evidence that we can get, just like a roommate of somebody that we heard, like Stefan Stern's old roommates or Jen's old roommate. When we hear that's a small semblance of information that may have a truth to it. That's the closest truth that we're going to get. When when a parent wants money for interviews, people stop doing interviews. They lie about taking lie detector tests. They don't show up for them. They start fighting with each other. They don't go to vigil. What else? You hire PIs, then you start fighting with them. You, in one sentence, you're praising them. In the next video, you're talking bad about them. You talk down to people when your child's missing.
For flyers and to find his son.
All right, so one other one that I wanted to show you here, and then we're going to get into that neighbor video, so you guys can tell me what you think about it. Hold on real quick. I don't want to, let me stop sharing this for a second with y'all and go here. All right. Okay, so this is what they were talking about with the unidentified car. I don't know if you heard about that, but that if you listen to the interview, then that's what you get. That's kind of what you're going to get. And this is just like a rabbit hole that I wish. Yeah, Rebecca, a lot of people say Seth has given weird vibes since the beginning. They've been saying that, and I've been sticking up for him, saying, not sticking up for him in a way that I know him or anything, but in a way that, hey, he's a grieving dad, just don't say anything, back up, let him have his space, whatever. Okay, so I'm not the only one that's said that, but there's a lot of people that have said that, hey, Gothic Bree, you're here. I'm a mom and last son. I feel Seth is at his wits end. I believe that too. I think he's going off the deep end. Seth said no, he's not charged you for interviews. That's good. I am too, Bear. I'm glad, because all I'm hearing right now is a bunch of drama, nonsense, and gossip. What's up, KA Pisces or Carrie? Me friends, I watched the entire trial of Wade Wilson. I was watching that all day too. Boy, was that interesting. And I'm covering it on Wednesday. All right, let's listen to this and then we'll get into the interview.
He's the one leaving the roadhouse after dinner with his mother. He was
Remember that. So those are my two things. He left the roadhouse. He either never made it home, in my opinion, and this is all alleged. He either never made it home or he made it home and something happened at that home that we don't know about.
Definitely there. A waitress confirmed he ate salmon, and there's footage of him leaving. The problem comes in whether Sebastian returned home after that very fun-filled day out with his family and mother. It seemed like the perfect day out for a child, so many fun things to do, and yummy snacks. However, what proof is there that Sebastian ever returned home? JLR Investigates has been doing amazing work in this case, and he got an exclusive interview with one of the Proudfoot's neighbors, named Bobby. It was an extremely interesting interview, and she is wonderful for taking the time to come forward and speak about what she knows. We all know neighbors talk, and she had conversations with a neighbor that handed footage to law enforcement of Sebastian allegedly taking out the trash. I say allegedly because we still don't know whether that was really Sebastian or someone pretending to be him. I recall Katie Proudfoot saying that it was Sebastian's job or chore to take out the trash. She also made reference to the way he runs in another interview, which I also found very interesting. Anyway, according to Bobby, there is no physical evidence that Sebastian came home, meaning no one saw him returning home, no footage of him returning. Katie's car was caught on the neighbor's camera, but she pulled straight into the garage, so couldn't tell whether Sebastian was in there or not.
Going out to dinner. Go ahead.
There's no specific footage of that. The neighbor that has the Ring door camera that saw that, she said to me on the phone that the only thing.
Hold on. Okay, so this is where we're starting. I want to start with this because that's the only real information that we have. Allegedly with Brittany. I see. Okay, do they have proof he was at the roadhouse? They do have proof that he was at the roadhouse. I believe people saw him. He was on video. They just talked about that. I'm trying to catch up with chat here because I want to know what you guys think, because all of this is just a bunch of drama, and if my child was missing, I certainly would either stay quiet and behind the scenes and doing anything I can to help the police. In the beginning, I would be loud and asking for my child. Where are you? Where's my son, my daughter, whatever. And then, you can't tell how you're going to feel, but what they're doing is everybody is just out of their mind right now. And it's not worth getting a cease and desist. It's not worth the drama. It's not worth my time to spread misinformation. And that's why I'm not spreading misinformation. I'm spreading the information that has a little bit of, I could take it with a couple grains of salt. Imagine how you would think or act if your only child is missing and the statistics probably no longer alive. I don't even want to imagine. Hello, Misty Free Spirit. I don't want to imagine, but I know I wouldn't be looking at Harley's on the day of the vigil. That I wouldn't be doing. That I wouldn't be leaving the house. I think all the hearsay until Leo's come out that update. Yeah, there's no update. Katie has never once asked for a safe return as if abductors told. Thank you for that. We'll leave it at that, and we'll play this so we can listen to this together. Hopefully, this is the same one. This is Diego, is that correct? Okay. Let's just watch it together then. How about that? And then we can talk about it. And then I'm not going to talk about this again until something actually happens, because this is just utter nonsense and drama, and it's taking away from us finding Sebastian. Hold on. I'm going to go back to where she starts. Hold on. I'm sorry. Why is it doing it that way? I don't know why it's doing it that way, guys. I can't. Hmm. I don't know why it's doing it like that. Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry. This is StreamYard is being really weird, guys. Sorry about that. Well, I don't control StreamYard, so that's what's wrong.
Right before that, or right after that.
Okay, I got it.
So she did all that and then came back, and then I guess that's when she put it on the Facebook page. But I also remember what I thought was very odd was shortly before that, another neighbor. So if their house is here, if you're going up staff.
Okay, absolutely. The only information that we really have, it's an exclusive interview with a Proudfoot neighbor. And remember, we just talked about the last time where Sebastian was seen was at the roadhouse, and the last person that he was seen with was Katie. And this is what the neighbor has to say. And we can talk about it as we go. Let me make sure that it's faster. And let's go. Remember, I was just on here for 2 hours. Sometimes StreamYard gets a little wonky after a while.
Stafford, a little bit farther up Stafford, was actually the first one to ask, hey, what's all going on in the neighborhood? Because my older son left to go to work that morning, approximately 8 o'clock, and there was already police all up and down Stafford, like just covering it. And they were already out walking around and stuff. And so I don't know, I guess she saw some of that traffic as she was leaving to go to work, and she posted first on the Facebook page. And then Katie, after that, is when she posted, and I went back to find that, and that previous neighbor deleted her post.
What about Katie's
I don't know.
post?
No, the original post, the first post.
Yeah.
The
no longer
neighbor, it's gone. She had to have deleted.
And why would it be gone? Why would Katie post something and then it be gone when your son's missing? There's a whole bunch of things that I'm still looking at Katie. Nothing's ever changed. I'm still fully focused on Katie. And now, of course, Chris. Chris is just like the shield for Katie. He's out there talking trash, disrespecting women and people. And now Seth has joined the I'm going crazy. I don't understand. He wasn't there, so I support that and empathize with him, but why is he doing what he's doing, and why are they sending out cease and desist letters, but then they keep going on and people are still talking about that? I bet you if I got off this right now, there's 10 channels at least right off the top that I subscribe to that are talking about Sebastian, just having call-ins and talking about all kinds of crazy theories.
It because you can't, if you're not the creator of the post, you can't delete someone else's post. They have to delete it. But when I went back a couple weeks after everything happened and things kind of calmed down a little bit, I was talking to somebody else and I was like, I remember
Interesting.
Didn't such and such make the post first? And this is a neighbor down the street from me. And she said, yeah, I remember that. And I was like, I wonder what the time frame was different. And I went back to look and it was gone. So the original neighbor that very first posted asking what was all the commotion going on. And I still wonder if that's why Katie posted that. But then it was like 2 or 3 neighbors after. So Katie posted her comment or her post, and then several people commented after. I didn't see anything. She was asking, like, everybody check their cameras. I didn't see anything. And then Chris posted underneath that and simply said something like, yeah, my son's missing. That was it.
Oh. So what?
Okay, so we've always thought Chris and Katie. Chris shields Katie. Katie was the last person to see Chris. That's where we are. Nothing else has changed. I don't know why the neighbors are suddenly coming out, and that's what I'm interested in. Why didn't you come out in the beginning? What information do you have? I don't understand why all of a sudden this is happening. They're not fighting anymore, or are they fighting still? I think someone's advising Seth the wrong way and taking advantage of his old bit. Okay, and I'm not going to bash Chris at all, but I still say that Katie needs to talk. She needs to speak up, and she was the last person, and they need to look at her, and they need to look at Chris and Katie Proudfoot more closely and make this into a criminal investigation with fresh eyes and take out the people that know them. It's not right or legal to have ties to somebody in the case and then not look at them in that way. So they didn't even call 911. He called his friend, like a buddy, good old boys club on a 3-way.
Did it say like where the post was originating from, or was Chris around the neighborhood by then?
Okay, so I have twins, and when we first heard about everything, they jumped up and went running out of the house and went across the street down to where they live, and they walked over because they wanted to be a part of helping, look for him.
Yeah.
And they went over there, and Chris was not there yet. So Seth was in the 8:30.
8:30, okay.
8:20-ish. Yeah, because my oldest son had already left for work. He left about 8. Then my twins, when I got the phone call from the neighbor very nearby them that is a good friend of mine about 8:15, 8:20 that morning, asking if I had heard what would happen. And I had not yet because I hadn't gotten going for that yet. And then when my son texted me, I didn't answer. So he called my other boy's phone and asked them, hey, did y'all see what's going on? And they came around my room and said, "Hey, Mom, did you hear what happened?" I was like, "Wait, what? What's going on? My phone's ringing. You guys are running in here. Like, what is happening here?" And my neighbor was on the phone calling me. And so as soon as I heard the neighbor tell me the story, what happened, they went running out the door and went over there to kind of help, with the search and stuff. And they said that they saw Seth and Katie in the front yard and of course they didn't know the names back then. They just knew, like, now that they've seen pictures, they go back and say, yeah, it was Seth and Katie and Kathy Bauer Socks and a bunch of other police, law enforcement and stuff like that. But Chris was not there yet.
Yeah, so that's what I want to know is, how do you explain him not being on camera? Yet a whole neighborhood full of people, that nice houses. I'm gonna not even talk about Katie anymore and her tie to working for a company that does security. This lady's going a million miles an hour, but I do want to hear what she has to say and what ties she has to it, and what maybe the neighbors told the TBI. They haven't done anything about it. They were scared of Chris, you think, and maybe now that they're not there. Yeah, Stefan Stearns has been charged with capital murder. I do that. Thank you, Sandy. It's not breaking news, but well, it's breaking news from earlier. I do have that, and I'm going to cover that tomorrow. Yeah, don't hop off of this because of that. It did happen, and I know. And if you guys want me to show you after, I can. We can go through this, but yeah, please stay here with me. Let's focus on Sebastian real quick. Stearns, we already know, is charged. Yes, he was charged with. They're looking to give him the death penalty. Yes.
Interesting.
Well,
Now,
he wasn't there then.
Now, where do you live relative to the Proudfoots?
I live at the very top of the hill on Kellen.
So the next street, the street that turns into Stafford.
The main street.
Main street coming in. So just basically what you're now going back to Katie, like what you know or what you heard. When was Katie driving around in her SUV? Like a time frame? Like when do you think she was driving around in her SUV looking for passion, like she claims?
Right. So there's so many different things here because the neighbor that I actually spoke with, that I'm friends with, she's the one that has the camera on the corner of Stafford and Kellen. And I'm not going to mention her name, but she's the one that the camera footage got leaked without her knowledge and her permission, that everybody has seen. But I've directly spoken with her. And then I also have directly spoken with a couple other neighbors that live very close to the Proudfoot's house. And the neighbor that I spoke with the very first time that morning, she said that when she was taking her kids to school, Katie was already back from looking. She had just got back from looking, and the kids have to be in school at 7:30. And so she normally leaves the house at 7 to take her kids to school. But Katie was already back and in the front yard, and all the cops and stuff were there. So she stopped for a minute to talk to her, took her to school. My neighbor that had the camera footage told me that her timeline is not working correctly, but when she puts it all together with the sunrise and then the bus coming through and all of that, she said it was approximately about 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:20. It was right in between supposedly when she discovered him missing. Supposedly she gets up, she runs around the house, she gets dressed, and she drives out of the neighborhood and that kind of thing and goes looking for him. But I know the neighbor next, if you're looking at the Proudfoot's house on the left, when she went running out of her house hysterical, the neighbor next to her was already out. Of course, everybody's getting up, getting ready for work, getting kids ready for school. Bus comes 6:45, 6:50 ish, 6:45, 6:50. It's been a long time since my kids have ridden the bus, so I have to.
Okay. Do you hold on? If you guys want me to, I just don't want people to jump off of here. If you want me to play the live press conference of them announcing that, I was going to play it tomorrow, or announcing that they are seeking the death penalty, which we kind of already knew. Thank you for the membership. Let me know. I can show that, but I wanted to give Sebastian time so you guys know what's really happening with him and what the updates are and what she's saying and what's a good possibility. So thanks for the dear girl. I'm glad you cleared it up for me. He had been charged. He was charged a month ago already. There was a press conference saying that. Now they're just saying that I was gonna wait for tomorrow. So it's not really, all it is JB, hey JB, telling him that now he's facing the death penalty. That's it. nothing new, same press. We'll do it tomorrow.
To really think about that one. But it's definitely before 7 because the kids have to be in school in class by 7:30. And we're the last pick up before he actually goes to school because we're right next to the school. So, everybody was getting up and getting ready for work and everything. So she actually saw her out and she asked her what was going on. And she told her. And so she actually walked around the house and was helping her look around the house. So she was already back from looking around 7.
Interesting. When she left to go look for Sebastian, I know that if you turn right going out of the Proudfoot, you go up the top of the hill, it's a cul-de-sac, or you go around.
So she is telling third party, but it's still giving you a timeline of what happened. She said Chris wasn't there yet, which is interesting because I always thought that Chris had came back while he was on the phone, got there really quick, and I don't know. This solidifies the time frame for me. And that means that either he snuck around and they never checked into what Chris was doing, or Katie did it all by herself and he's helping cover it up. She's the last person to see Sebastian. She calls Chris. Chris drives home. He gives us the exact time frame, 3 hours and how many minutes did he say? 3 hours and 47 minutes, whatever. So they don't even call 911, and then there's no urgency to it. This is giving us a time frame of that, whether it's third party or not. It's telling us it and giving us real information, not the information that you're hearing everywhere else about all the other stuff. So hang in there.
And you can go up your street all the way at the back where the construction is. Did she, before she ventured out of the neighborhood, did she go up those roads, do you know of, to look?
Did she go up my road?
Your road or her road itself to the top of the cul-de-sac, where
the only thing I was right. So the only thing I was told, of course, we nobody in my house was up or out yet, so I can't verify that because we weren't out yet. But the neighbor that told me that she saw her SUV drive across her driveway saw her leave. So that's right.
That's interesting. So you would think that maybe you stay in the neighborhood a little bit and go up and down your own streets.
That was when she went to the school thinking that he had walked to the school on his own, which I don't know why. He's never done that before. So why would he do that? I mean, like, why would he just walk to school by himself? Plus he had no shoes on, supposedly. So like, why would he walk to school by himself? So
that also doesn't make sense because she said it was didn't you say it was 10 o'clock at night when she heard a thud? That makes no sense. So I'm still going back to Katie Proudfoot holds all the answers. Katie Proudfoot was the last person to see Sebastian alive or around or in the house. They still stick to that same story that he walked out of the door. How do they know he walked out of the door if they heard a thud and then he was gone? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, yeah, this lady is telling third parties, but it gives me a lot more answers to what didn't happen about what Chris and Katie are saying. And my focus is still on Chris and Katie. And I think Seth just needs to stay out of the media for a while.
But that's what I was told, that she actually walked around her house outside, didn't find him. So she got in her car and drove to the school.
It was back by 7. Around that time.
So actually before that.
Yeah. Does Sebastian, did he take the bus to school, or did Katie take him in her car?
From what the neighbors, of course I don't have kids that ride the bus anymore. But from what the neighbor nearby said, that he did ride the bus. Now, the neighbor on the corner that has a surveillance camera said that there is a special bus that comes for certain kids that have special needs and whatever. And she said, I don't think he gets on that bus. I think he gets on the other bus. So that was what I was told. I can't verify that, so I can't answer that appropriately.
Gotcha. So we're talking all law enforcement, all there, starting to descend onto the area, 8 a.m.-ish, right? 8 a.m.-ish.
Well, they were there before that. They were already there, and cars parked. By the time when my son went to work at 8, they were already there and already clumped up together and starting to talk because they were already in the front yard talking to them. So I don't know.
So she must be talking about the police being there at 8:30 by then. Is she talking about in the morning or at night? So whoever's watched this already, please let me know what they're talking about as far as time frame goes and how long it took, because what Katie says doesn't match with anything that they're saying the time frame doesn't match up. Chris's time frame doesn't match up. I was side-eyeing the 9 p.m. bedtime. I don't know if 15-year-old that goes to bed at 9. Okay, so now they're talking about in the morning and everybody coming there. Yeah, Hulk smashed that like button. So now they're talking about the next morning. She wakes up and Sebastian's not there, right? Okay.
No, exact. I mean, I would say probably it was even before. I mean, they were probably there. I'm trying to remember what she said when she got ready to leave. She never said anything. The neighbor that called me and told me about it never mentioned law enforcement being there. She just said that Katie was outside walking around, upset and everything. And she asked her, like, what's going on? But she didn't specify if there were law enforcement there. But they were already there and out of their cars and in the front yard at 8 o'clock. So they had to have been there before that.
Gotcha. Any idea when Seth got there?
No, but I do know that he was there by the time my kids went over there, like I said, which was about 8:30. He was already there. And
if you want to come up, Bree, you can. I can send you a link if you want to talk about this as we stop each portion of this video. We're trying to match up what she's saying with what Katie's saying. And my theory has always been Chris and Katie. Katie was the last person. Chris was out of town, supposedly. If they're not looking at it as a criminal investigation, that means they haven't put trackers on the car or done any of the things that they did with the Madeline Soto case. With Madeline Soto, they tracked the cars, they listened on the phone calls, all of the things. So, yes, thank you. Do your thing. Her timeline doesn't add up. Waking up and walking through the kitchen. So Sebastian, to go wake Sebastian up, yet when she sees him in his room, she goes to check the kitchen. Yeah, she already walked through it. That's what I've said the whole time. That makes zero sense when she already walks to the kitchen. Then she goes back to the kitchen, but he never goes and cooks for himself. So why would he even be in the kitchen? It makes zero sense. Yes, like I said, if you want to come up, Bree, if you have something to add that I don't know, I'm going on what the information that I know about the facts, the complete facts of the case, and what Chris and Katie have said, not anything that's wavered from it or the PI stuff or anything in between. And so another thing I'm catching that's interesting is that Katie was outside and with the police, and she's not telling anyone that her son's missing. She's just doesn't make any sense. The neighbors don't know what's going on. She's not saying my son's missing, go look for him. I just found out he wasn't there. Everybody should be looking at
I also know that his truck was there like off and on the whole time.
Gotcha.
But I don't know what time exactly.
So what happens to just explain to everybody then what did law enforcement do at that point, like throughout the morning once they all arrived there? Did more and more law enforcement come, or was there certain?
I told my neighbor down the street, I said, I didn't even know we had these agencies. I mean, like I've never in my life ever seen such a response. It was overwhelming. It was like, it kind of freaked me out. Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm living in a real life, like drama crime scene. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. The very first that came out was the sheriff's department, because we live in a county. So sheriff's department respond first because we're part of.
Now, feel free to comment. Justice for All, thank you for this $5 super chat. I have not been sidetracked from Chris and Katie the whole time. Even Seth is not sidetracking me from Chris and Katie. I think he's just, I think he just needs to stay off of social media. He's probably running out of money because it's hard to go to work when your brain is not mentally capable to do so. But a lot of things that she's saying in here is still pointing right back at Chris and Katie. So good. Thanks for listening and being here with me, folks.
We're not part of the city. So they came out first and they literally walked all up and down and around and everything. And then they came door to door and asked everybody, who all had cameras and whatnot. What did you see? What do you know? Whatever. And then it was, now of course I'm having to really go back in my head. It's been a little while. It was later on that afternoon, they brought some dogs in and they started walking around. They came around the houses and asked everybody to walk around their own property, look underneath stuff, in anything that's unlocked. So all of us up and down my street, everybody, my neighbors came out with me. She and I walked together, walked all up and down our yards, all across the street, up and through the cul-de-sac, down the street a little bit. There's a barbed wire fence behind us as of right now where the new construction is, so you can't get over that, but we could walk around it. And so we both walked up and around that, just looked everywhere that was kind of close by. And then I noticed that they had the drones up. And of course, the news was short. That was Tuesday. The news came out and was flying the helicopter around. It was chaotic. It was absolutely chaotic.
Did you see Seth and Katie out there looking? No.
Not in our neighborhood. Never.
Never seen
And
them walk around.
So that's why I have a feeling when Chris is all over the internet calling into YouTube, into different YouTube channels and starting trash. I have at least 5 of them that I downloaded. I was going to do a show on the season Desist one last week, and I had a bunch of interviews lined up where Chris is going on there and then Seth is going on there, and they're just all going back and forth. And what I think is they're just detracting from what really is going on. Sebastian Rogers is still missing, and Chris and Katie have never been out looking for him. They've never really been worried. There's been a finality to it. Yeah, Seth does need to stop. Not Seth, Chris and Katie, excuse me. When you get all these people involved, Seth needs to stop. I agree. But he's still not detracting me from looking at Chris and Katie, who have done the same thing the entire time. What Bobby's saying is nothing.
No, they were in their yard out, but never left their property. No.
Thank you.
And I know for a fact because so Monday my kids were out with law
Agreed.
enforcement, because at that point it was, we need all the neighbors come out, help us, look everywhere, whatever. So they were open to everybody coming in and help. So at that point, my kids jumped into one of those razor things and drove all up and through the property and stuff. And then my other one walked with the canine unit in the construction zone. He walked all the way through that. They literally, I had to call them at one point in time and tell them, y'all need to come home and have lunch. I mean, this is crazy. I know you want to help, but you got to come home and eat. And so then they came home, they ate, and then they went back out there, and they were out there with them all day Monday, all day Tuesday.
Okay, does anyone think this is going to become like a Summer Wells type of case? And the reason I say that is because Summer Wells been missing 3 years now. The parents are still running around. They've done a bunch of interviews. They're very inconsistent. And there's still no criminal charges. Thank you, Dion Pill. Jay. Hey, Jay, are there psychics who work on missing cases with police? Did Katie send him to a friend to protect Sebastian from her husband? He's on record saying he whacked Sebastian. Thank you for the question. There are psychics who work on the cases. I take those. So let me tell you my personal life, Dion. I like psychics and I like listening to them, and they're entertaining. I don't bring them onto my channel because I don't want people to think I'm into conspiracy theories. But I do not think that Katie sent him away for Sebastian's protection, because Sebastian was supposed to move with Chris the following day or week. I'm not sure which one it is right now. He was going to live with Seth, not Chris. So he would have already been gone. He would have been out of their hair. Something happened. It was an accident and it needed to be covered up. That's happened 1,001 times in true crime, where parents do something and it's an accidental happening. This time, however, Chris has ties to the police and they're not looking at them as criminals is the problem. So whatever happened to Seth's body, you're going to hear it from me. I'm saying not Seth, Sebastian's body. They're looking for a body. I do not believe that they're looking for a child that's hidden somewhere for his protection. That I do not believe. like Summer, was going to be taken away the next day. Yeah, there's so many things that are consistent with case after case after case that happens. The only difference is this guy has ties. Why is this not a criminal case? However you look at it, why aren't they looking at kidnapping? Do they really think that he ran away? He was, as the parents say, he was autistic in a way that he wouldn't be able to function without his parents, without shoes, being in the woods, being cold. Do they think that that it doesn't make sense? So it's either a kidnapping or the parents were the last to see him. They did something. What else could there be? I don't believe in UFOs and aliens.
Day. And then, so Tuesday we had SWAT. That was the day we had the vigil. And it was interesting because we put out a post on the neighborhood group that we're having a vigil, and everybody's invited, but we want it to be just the neighborhood only because we want it to be a private vigil just for our neighborhood and for the family. We were hoping if we made it more personal like that the family would come and they wouldn't be overwhelmed with all this. That was the other thing. Good God, the traffic. The second that it got out, we had
exactly. So the neighbors seem to care and the community seemed to care more than Chris and Katie, not Seth. I believe Seth has worked so hard that he's worked himself into some manic state, a depression. I don't know what he's going through, but I don't think that he's involved with Seth or Sebastian. I keep saying their names wrong. Seth is not involved with Sebastian's missing. Third party looking into it would be absolutely fantastic because then there wouldn't be any bias and you'd get a fresh set of eyes. If there are aliens, they definitely think they were stupid. Yeah, if there were aliens involved in this, that would be the only thing that would make sense at this point. But if you cut through all of the junk that's been happening, it's still Chris and Katie that they should be focusing on. And she's saying it without saying it. Bobby's sitting there saying that the whole neighborhood was out looking and they thought if they did a vigil, that they would be more personal for the family to come, and they didn't. They never came to anything.
Tons of people just driving up and down the street, just looking and watching. I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do to help. We're flooded already with police. I don't know what outsiders coming in are going to do. I mean, it was chaotic as it was anyway, and now you got all these extra people coming out there, so it just got so chaotic. But so Tuesday.
So I believe when Seth says things about Sebastian, I don't think they're awful. I think they're true. I think he didn't want to say them, but he said them when he needed people to realize what was going on in the house, that he was wearing diapers, that whatever the things that came out, him being essayed, him maybe essaying, whatever it is that he started to say was out of desperation. I really, truly do not think that Seth has anything to do with the disappearance of Sebastian. Although Chris and Katie would love for us to think that.
Thursday night, we planned the vigil, went down there, got in a big circle, introducing everybody, and there's neighbors. I don't want to get too personal here. There are neighbors. Actually, we have I think 2, maybe 3 sets of neighbors that are in law enforcement. They're in different counties. One of them is actually a part of Hendersonville Police, and then the other 2 are from other counties. They came to the vigil. And matter of fact, the one that is part of Hendersonville has been in a neighborhood since almost the beginning. Know them very well, good people. And he was down there with a flashlight because we had so many people driving up and down and around and circling and going up and down and circling and coming back and forth. And we're just like, good grief. The Proudfoots sent, I don't know who it was, but they came down and we were all introducing ourselves, and they introduced themselves as aunt and uncle.
The Proudfoots?
Don't have a
aunt and uncle?
Proudfoots.
Okay, so another thing too, spreading disinformation and paying trolls, that I'll agree with muddying the water. I think Chris has been muddying the water so much by going on these different channels and doing AI voices and just going on the channels and saying rude things about people and completely muddying the waters to distract away from him and Katie. Also, what family has a child that goes missing and then moves out of the house and goes and does something else? I mean, I don't see how the police don't see through that at all. What is it that we don't see through? Or is it that we just want it to be a conspiracy theory? Why are there 20 other channels right now, 10 that I'm subscribed to and 10 that I'm not, that are having a whole conversation about this topic right now that are not making any sense? And they're talking about the PIs and they're fighting and Chris's voice and what he said. Why is that happening? It just doesn't make sense. This lady's actually giving us nuggets of information about Chris and Katie.
Apparently, I don't know if it was Chris's somebody's brother, or that's what they introduced themselves as. We are, maybe it was Sebastian's aunt and uncle.
Chris and
Maybe
Katie
that's
said
what it was.
Chris and Katie said they were their aunt and uncle.
Well, it wasn't. Chris and Katie didn't come. They sent family members, and when they introduced themselves as we're aunts and uncles.
Why
So I
didn't
guess
Chris,
Sebastian's aunt and uncle?
why didn't Chris? Did Seth go?
No.
So no Seth, no Seth, no Prophets. They basically sent their own representatives, family members that claim they
Yes.
were aunt.
That's correct. Yes.
I got two questions back on the first day. When do you know that Chris arrived home?
I did not, because I didn't know. I had never met them. They moved in and nobody knew them. Like, I still don't know anybody that really knows them. Like, nobody ever really knew them. And so
When did they move in? Do you know?
I think, well,
Me
so
too.
apparently it was a year and a half ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and they just stayed to themselves, and nobody really even knew them. I didn't even know that the original owners sold their house, and not because we don't, our neighborhood is just a real.
Yeah, I think this lady's just tired of hearing about all the misinformation and she wants to be heard about what she saw and what she didn't see. And a lot of people are suspicious about the Proudfoots 110%. But the focus got shifted from them when they after they went on Nancy Grace, the Proudfoots, and they didn't take a lie detector, and then they took a lie detector, and then maybe they took a lie detector. Then Katie went on another show without Chris, and then Chris started going on a bunch of shows, and then Seth came out and started hiring and firing PIs, and then after that, now they're friends again, the Proudfoots with Seth. And then all of a sudden they're not friends, and Seth is out going on this rogue mission. But we're still coming back to the Proudfoots are super suspicious, and where is Sebastian? And so this lady's kind of filling us in. These people were private, they kept to themselves. They probably did abuse Sebastian in a manner that was abusive. If you were CPS and you were looking at the case from a bird's eye view, you say you're not supposed to do this to your child that's 15 or treat them like this, or the way that they acted. Friends had talked about it. I think, I mean, if you go back and look at some of the abusive things that were going on in the house, even Chris, Chris is abusive. Even the way he talks to private eyes, YouTubers, he's an abusive man by nature. He also controls the narrative of this story in the media.
Quiet neighborhood. Everybody kind of stays to themselves, except for, if you need something, or if a dog, a pet gets out, or if somebody goes on vacation, hey, will you watch my house, that kind of thing. But we don't really, unfortunately, I think everybody's just have busy lives and stuff, and we just don't know. I mean, like each neighbor knows the neighbor next to them. Like, I know all the neighbors around me, and I know a lot of their original neighbors that were there from day one, but I don't know the ones that have moved in over the past 5 years. And I think with COVID, that kind of messed everything up too.
Gotcha. Somebody put in the chat, what time does the trash get picked up in the morning?
That is the biggest misconception. Here we go with the whole light thing, right? This is where we're going. So
one more thing first. The furry version.
No, it's where when the trash gets picked up. See, that's the thing. They're just attracted, and I'm not going to do that on my channel. I'm not going to I don't want people to think that I forgot about Sebastian, but I'm not going to keep reporting on it until something actually comes out that's not them fighting or hiring PIs and firing PIs. I'm just not going to cover it anymore until something comes out. I'd rather spend my time on Madalena Kojakari or Elijah Vu or any other kid that needs a voice that hasn't been found, and there's still a hope of some semblance of justice where the parents are they're looking at the parents. Like Elijah Vu's parents are sitting in jail right now and they haven't got out, and they're trying to keep them in there because they know more than likely they did something with Elijah's body. These people aren't being looked at. When I say these people, Chris and Katie.
First day, the dogs. You saw dogs out there. You saw.
Oh yes,
did you
absolutely.
See the dogs going a specific direction or area? Did you see them centered around a certain area, or did they pick up any scent?
Okay, so there was no scent that was picked up from their house to anywhere. However, and my kids were with the handler and the canine and actually watched. He followed them all through the construction zone. And one of my kids actually saw one of the dogs take the handler to one of the retention ponds. And not only did he go to the retention pond, he ran to it and jumped in it. And the handler had to go and get him and take him out of the water and then dry him off. And my son looked over the handler and said, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like that before." He looked at me and said, "He's never done that before." And my son said, "Why did he just jump in that?" He said he was following a scent. And then the other
on that, did they go in the water? Did they stake scuba divers or anything in there?
Supposedly, when I told Seth that when I met him at the most recent vigil, he said they drained the pond twice and nothing. But not only did I see that, but when on day 3, I think it was Wednesday, when National Guard came through and they had their dogs. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They were all up and down through the neighborhood. That's why when everybody said, the police aren't doing enough, I have some of my own personal thoughts about that, but I will tell you right now, we had we had the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, we had Hendersonville Police, we had
I don't think that the police aren't doing enough. I think they're almost doing too much without looking at the right people. And why aren't they saying they're looking for a body? You don't drain a pond if you're not looking for a body. Yeah, this is very suspicious. I think, though, when you have towns like this with people that know people, it's easy to get away from it, especially when you distance yourself from it and you say, I have a job to go to and I'm going to take my wife with me. We're going to go now, but we're going to call into all these shows and distract people and check in, but we're doing the best we can. And we're going to go on a few shows, and we took our lie detector test. It's very easy for this case to never truly be solved, folks. This may just be one of these type of things. Now, I breaking news. I know that Stephen Stearns is going to be charged with the death penalty. Is there something else that I should be looking at? Let me know. That I'm gonna come up with tomorrow. Breaking news. Check emails. Okay, let's listen to this while I check my emails.
State troopers. We had National Guard. We had drones. We had helicopters. We had canines. We had 2 sets of different canines, and the National Guard brought theirs. So we were flooded. Okay, so back to the whole dog.
let's do the trash, because the trash is what everyone is like curious about. The time the trash picks up, and then in reference to the lights, we're going to talk about the 3 a.m., 3:10 a.m. lights. Let's talk about the trash. What do you know?
So our trash gets picked up by J.E. McMurtry Disposal, has for many, many, many years. They used to, a few years back, they would pick up around 6:30-ish, but then the bus was coming through and it was making it hard for them to come through with the bus, and all the kids were out and it was just chaotic. So they switched it, and now they go down my street about 5:30, 5-ish, between 5:15-ish, 5:20, something like that, every Monday morning. That's going down my hill, though. That's not when they come in and they're going around it. That's when they're coming back down.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's an extra, 20 minutes? How long does it take for the trash truck guy to go through the whole entire neighborhood?
And the other misconception is a lot of people are saying that they have to hand dump the trash bin in there. They don't. It's a new truck. They have an arm, and it does it for them. So that was another thing where they're having to pick up these big. No, they're not. They have an arm. They roll it over to the arm, connect it to the arm, and they dump it in. You can hear it. I mean, it's not quiet. It's loud. I mean, you can hear the arm doing all that. So by the time they collect the trash coming up the street, though, not going down it. They're collecting it as they come up. So I guess they're probably in the neighborhood just like around 5, just before 5.
And they're out of there before the buses come.
Yes.
Or the bus comes, or
Absolutely.
You said buses. Where's trash go?
Oh, it gets dumped in either Nashville or Gallatin. If Nashville is full, they'll temporarily dump it to Gallatin. And then once, I guess, Nashville gets finished, whatever, then they'll transport to Nashville. The big misconception was that the neighborhood behind us, they get picked up by a different company on Tuesdays. So that's a whole different thing.
Is that construction development?
Thank you again for the super chat. I hate that you're definitely not beating a dead horse. I appreciate you. And Chris's ex-wife said he had life-threatening anger issues. That I have been focusing on as well. And so the two people that last person to see supposedly Sebastian alive is Katie. I think they're both working together. He has anger issues. We watched that on my channel, and we know that he was super abusive. So either he was home and nobody's checked, like he drove back and forth in the middle of the night. That's happened many times in cases. I'll be can't do trolls. Do we have trolls here? What happened, Bobby? Okay. If you guys want, I can show that. Let's watch this for a second, and then let me.
You're talking about.
Well, that was the dumpster that everybody was asking about. How is it possible that, whatever, that the dog hit over there as well? The second dog that was out walking hit also by the trash dumpster, and the trash dumpster owner found that out when law enforcement told him that we got a hit by the dumpster. The owner of the dumpster called them back and said, okay, we dumped our trash on this certain day, Tuesday, whatever, on that certain day in Kentucky. So you guys need to go and get a warrant, obviously. And he gave them permission to go search the Kentucky dumpster or landfill. So that's why they went to Kentucky. And
all right, let me stop this for a second. You guys are all on here, and I can come right back real quick. I don't think there are any trolls on here, but let me just show you something real quick. Now, we're going to do this tomorrow, but I will show you really quickly, everybody that's been following this case. Let me show you what we're talking about. Hold on. All right, check this out. All right, go ahead.
Breaking news right now. State prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty for Stefan Stearns in the death of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
West 2 Summer Knowles joins us in studio. Summer, the state attorney's office says this decision was based on several factors. Yeah, guys, that's exactly right. And some of those reasons include the crime being especially cruel and the victim being particularly vulnerable because the defendant was in a position of authority over her. Now, Stearns, who is the boyfriend of Madeline's mother, was charged with first-degree murder in April. He told investigators he dropped her off near her middle school the day she went missing, but her body...
So this happened just right now. They're seeking the death penalty. Tomorrow we're going to go into an in-depth episode about this, but I'll let you hear right now and then we can get back to that.
Body was found in rural Osceola County 5 days later. He was initially arrested on child sex abuse charges after investigations found several disturbing pictures and videos on his phone. They say he had been sexually abusing Madeline for years. We'll continue to stay on top of the story and update you on air and online at WESH.com. Back to you.
All right. So that was that breaking news. And I think we kind of speculated to that. All right. Now let's get back to Sebastian. He's going to probably get the death penalty. They're not going to give him a plea deal whatsoever. Now we're hashtag arrest Jen Soto. That's where we left off. And here I say Chris and Katie Proudfoot is who we need to talk to, who need to be investigated, and who they should be looking at. And there should be criminal charges brought for, can we bring it for neglect? For him walking out of the door, her knowing he walked out of the door with no shoes on and leaving and nobody, and then her moving away. What do you guys think about that?
And then I was told that they also checked Gallatin and Nashville as well.
That night, Katie claims the night of the 25th that Sebastian takes the trash out after they arrived home from going out to dinner. Go ahead.
There's no specific footage of that. The neighbor that has the Ring door camera that saw that,
there you go.
She said to me on the phone that the only thing you can see is a silhouette. She said you cannot see a physical person. There is absolutely no physical proof of Sebastian being at their house that night after dinner. There's nothing. There's her car coming home. My neighbor did tell me that she saw her car come, but she parks in the garage. So nobody saw him get out of the car.
What time was that? I always want to know what time she arrived home. Do you know?
I asked, and she said that it was so dark that she couldn't really see. She saw about 6 or so, I think is what she said, ish, because they went to dinner at Texas, and then.
Okay, this is where the story gets mucked up for me, and when things don't make sense, they're a lie. So this is where it gets mucked up. They go to dinner at 6 p.m., and then I want to hear what she says, what the lady tells her. They went at 6 p.m., they went home, and they had already eaten, but then they went back out, but then she heard the thud at 10, but then he was missing at 6 in the morning. What happened in between? This is just like the Soto case where you are missing this big chunk of time. Now we know Stephen Stearns is being charged with, they're seeking the death penalty for him. Jennifer Soto has not been arrested, and I'm still very upset that she hasn't, and I can't understand why. But the same with this, that they're not even looking at them as criminals. Your son is missing, and you up and you moved off, and you're not looking, you're not going to vigils, you're out doing something else, and the stories you're telling don't align. Every time they tell a story, it changes.
Supposedly came home, and then her car came into the driveway around 6, and then somebody pulled the trash bin out after that, but they don't know who it was because you can't tell.
So no evidence. Any neighbor, including yourself, or because you all talk, the neighbors talked to everybody and said there's nothing to indicate that he was home that night. He got home that night.
There's no proof of that. Nobody ever saw him come home, or really, I mean, I don't even know if anybody can say they saw him leave with her. I mean, no, I don't think anybody actually looked back that far. It was so chaotic at the very beginning. I think the police were so focused on a runaway teen that was what everybody was focused on. So when they first asked to look at their video cameras, I think everybody was checking actual of him walking out, but there's no proof of him physically walking out. And then it was, okay, are there any cars around there? And So going back to the whole light thing, I was told that there was an unidentified car sitting on my street facing the entrance somewhere around 3:30 or so. And then
This case gives me a headache too, but I'm with you guys. Now, first one gets a deal. I love hearing that because people have said that if Chris and Katie were to split up somehow or something was to happen between them, the first one that would roll would probably be Katie. Okay. So here's my theory on this. Why Chris says, hey, you shouldn't be at home alone. I have to go out on a job site. I got this nice trailer. Come out with me. He wants to keep her close to him. Both of them know what happened. I don't know what happened, but she was the last person to see and be with him alive. That kid did not walk out of the door like she claimed. I'm telling you right now. And we've lost focus of that. At least JLR hasn't. He's still trying to get times and talk about when the trash was and what Katie said and who saw him last and when was Chris home. He's still trying to do that, but we're still not getting answers. We're just hearing a bunch of runaround.
And then the flashlights were actually seen on the neighbor's camera. 2 separate flashlights walking in between the yards, which the trash truck does not do. They don't need to. All of the trash is at the curb. They have never, ever gone. Matter of fact, when you sign up for services, they tell you in the email their rules and regulations. If your trash is not by the curb, they don't take it. Unless, you're an elderly person, you ask them. If your trash is like in the front of your house and you ask them, they'll come and get it like that, but they won't come around the back or in between houses. That's bull monarchy. That is not how that works.
No trash. You don't believe that those 3:10 a.m. lights were around 3:10 after 3 a.m. were trash truck lights.
Not only do I not believe it, but the neighbor that has the actual footage swore up and down that there are 2 different circumstances. There was the car with the lights coming towards the car. The car backed up on Kellen and left. And then about 2-ish hours, hour and a half, hour 42 something. They're like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is stuck. She said, but you can tell because it's pitch black dark in the.
All right, I want you guys to listen to something else I have. Hold on, because now that this has come out, I think they may be looking back at them again, but I don't know if it's a distraction. I want you to see this real quick. And I'm not going to lose sight of this one, but I want you to look at this because I give you a good idea. Now that the neighbors are talking, people are starting to go back to, hold on, this one. All right, watch this.
Is having a form of autism.
He does.
But just describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things.
He's got a stubborn mindset. If he believes it's this,
he gets on a one-man track and he is just on it.
Did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
Watch what they say. Listen to the different interviews you've heard. See how it changes. Watch their posture. This guy almost laughed. It's like they did a take 2 on here. She never really looks at them. This guy's leading, but he wasn't there.
That is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to what they say about
Brittany.
this.
I hope everyone is enjoying their day. And it's been a little over 100 days since the young 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing in Tennessee. This story has really hit hard for me because Sebastian is autistic, and I myself have a 12-year-old autistic nephew that I love so dearly, and it's complicated to explain, but I understand what's going on in this story. But what makes this case so upsetting, other than Sebastian is missing, is that law enforcement have announced that they are reducing little to no searches for Sebastian. On February 26th, Sebastian's mom, Katie Proudfoot, says that she went into her son's room to wake him up for school, only to find out he was not in his room. She says that she last saw him the night before around 10 p.m. after going into his room, telling him to go to sleep after she heard a thud. After she searched her house, she then calls police. Sebastian's biological dad, Seth Rogers, who does not live in the home, says that Sebastian's shoes were still at the front door, his Nintendo Switch was there, and also his cell phone, which was still in the kitchen. Now, on the same day, police in Sumner County, Tennessee, contacted the TBI, which issued an endangered child alert that morning. More than 200 searchers were sent out, including canines and a SWAT team. No luck on that day. There were no signs of break-in, so a kidnapping was eliminated, but his dad seems to think that there was foul play involved. The next day of the search, February 27th, authorities changed the alert to an Amber Alert, which indicates it could be an abduction and the child is in danger. Authorities asked neighbors to check their security and doorbell cameras.
Okay, and so this is what the neighbors are talking about. There has to be cameras. You look at this nice neighborhood, there has to be cameras. Katie's telling this story. They're sticking to it, except it varies with there's variations of little things that are off. And then Chris is just like Stephen Stearns that wants to speak up and talk over her when supposedly he wasn't even there. Jen wants to collaborate with Stephen Stearns. Supposedly she wasn't there. She was home, but she insists that that Madeline was wearing black shorts that morning. How did she see her? This is time and time again, same thing. All right, listen to this. It's just we're talking about Sebastian Rogers still missing and how this case progressed without all the junk that's mucking it up.
To see if there was any footage of Sebastian leaving the home, and shockingly, nothing. Odd, right? So if anyone lives close to them or any neighbors, they would have some sort of footage of anybody walking out of the home, Sebastian walking out of the home. Something will be caught on that camera, right? Everybody nowadays, this is 2024. People have Ring cameras. However, on February 29th, police drained the pond near the home after canines led an officer to that pond, and the canine even jumped in the water, which was really strange. But unfortunately, nothing was found. The search dogs were not able to pick up a scent. On March 2nd, there was a $3,500 reward offered for anyone with knowledge of where Sebastian could be. So, of course, tips were coming in left and right. Someone even claimed the trash pickup came that morning on February 26th, walking around the Proudfoot's home with a flashlight, but that was confirmed to be unsubstantial and unverified. On March 14th, a news outlet obtained footage from outside the Proudfoot's home around 3 in the morning. Someone with flashlights walking around, but that tip could not be used. A lot of things are starting to look very suspicious at this point. None of the neighbors actually seen Sebastian that night, or even the night before for that matter. And there's actually no way to prove that he was even home. According to anonymous neighbors, Katie, Sebastian's mom, was not seen on the street where they live looking for Sebastian. Why this is very odd is that typically, if you're searching for a missing dog, a missing person, anything, you're going to go to everybody's door searching, knocking to see if anybody has seen them, not just going to limit to your backyard. Also, recently, a neighbor stated that Katie and her husband, Chris, did not show up to Sebastian's visual. So many of the neighbors know nothing about the Proudfoot's family. Many have even never had interactions with them, despite them living for there a little bit under 2 years. There's a lot of neighbors saying that they have not even really seen Sebastian out and about playing. But I have so many more details of this story, so please don't forget to like, subscribe, and please share your thoughts below. Bye for now.
All right. So that gives you a good idea. Okay, that gives you a really good idea of what the heck is going on. Susie, what's up? I've been on here for hours now, and what I really came on to do was to tell people, okay, is to tell people that this case is just out of control. The cease and desist is crazy. I'm not going to watch that whole video of that lady. That's just, there's bits and pieces and chunks of it, but it's hearsay. So let's finish up with this one.
The last known footage of Sebastian is the one leaving the roadhouse.
I'm going to watch it all the way through. It talks about the neighbor, but it picks out the chunks of information that the neighbor says that are really key. And then I'm going to leave off on Sebastian's missing. Okay. He went missing the same day Madeline did, February 26th. We're at 6/10/24. We're at what, 107 days now, if it's around there. All right. And I still think they need to look at Katie and Chris again and make this a criminal investigation. They need to get all items, like all of their electronics, get a search warrant, clouds. If they have any cloud, like server footage, they have to have cameras or some kind of backup, but they haven't done any of that. And I'm not saying they're doing a bad job as a whole, but somebody else needs to look at it that's not a friend of Chris. All right, this is what I'm going to leave off on.
After dinner with his mother. He was definitely there. A waitress
Thank
confirmed
you.
she ate salmon, and there's footage of him leaving. The problem comes in whether Sebastian returned home after that very fun-filled day out with his family and mother. It seemed like the perfect day out for a child, so many fun things to do, and yummy snacks. However, what proof is there that Sebastian ever returned home? JLR Investigates has been doing amazing work in this case, and he got an exclusive interview with one of the Proudfoot's neighbors, named Bobby.
Okay, here we
It
go.
was an extremely interesting interview, and she is wonderful for taking the time to come forward and speak about what she knows. We all know neighbors talk, and she had conversations with the neighbor that handed footage to law enforcement of Sebastian allegedly
Period.
taking out the trash. I say allegedly because we still don't know whether that was really Sebastian or someone pretending to be him. I recall Katie Proudfoot saying that it was Sebastian's job or chore to take out the trash. She also made reference to the way he runs in another interview, which I also found very interesting. Anyway, according to Bobby, there is no physical evidence that Sebastian came home, meaning no one saw him returning home, no footage of him returning. Katie's car was caught on the neighbor's camera, but she pulled straight into the garage, so couldn't tell whether Sebastian was in there or not.
Going out to dinner. Go ahead.
All right, I'll slow this down.
There's no specific footage of that. The neighbor that has the Ring door camera that saw that, she said to me on the phone that the only thing you can see is a silhouette. She said you cannot see a physical person. There is absolutely no physical proof of Sebastian being at their house that night after dinner. There's nothing. There's her car coming home. My neighbor did tell me that she saw her car come, but she parks in the garage, so nobody saw him get out of the car.
She also says after that, someone took the trash bags out, but it was so dark, couldn't tell who it was. Literally
All right. Nobody's looking at them, however. So they're doing whatever they want. There's so many cases that are like this. Letitia Stout, had they not looked at her more closely, they wouldn't have seen the footage of Gannon barely getting into the car, like she had already beat him up or did something to him. So they moved quickly, and it turned into an investigation where they were able to find actual physical DNA. It's like, I feel like they've already lost so much time on this, and these people have gone. They've been able to clean the house. They've been able to remove things. Do you think this is ever going to get solved, folks? Do you think we're going to bring Sebastian home? Do you think that we're going to bring a body home? Or do you actually, is there anybody in here that thinks, I think Davey does think that he might be hiding somewhere.
Silhouette of someone.
Texas, and then supposedly came home, and then her car came into the driveway around 6, and then somebody pulled the trash bin out, after that. But they don't know who it was because you can't tell.
So no evidence. Any neighbor, including yourself or because you all talk, the neighbors talk to everybody and said there's nothing to indicate that he was home that night. He got home that night.
There's no proof of that.
Here's something else that's really interesting. Bobby says she was told there was an unidentified car sitting in her street, facing the entrance, somewhere around 3:30 or so in the morning. She talks about the video with the flashlights, 2 individual flashlights, walking in between the yards, which the trash trucks do not do. She says it was caught on the neighbor's camera too.
And so going back to the whole light thing, I was told that there was an unidentified car
There you go
sitting
with the car.
on my street facing the entrance somewhere around 3:30 or so. And then the flashlights were actually seen on the neighbor's camera, 2 separate flashlights walking in between the yards, which the trash truck does not do.
Okay. So there's a whole bunch of stuff just mucking this case up. And I just want to let you know, for all the people that have been following me for the Madeline Soto case and the Sebastian Rogers case, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Tomorrow I'm doing a really great, I promise to make it a great episode of Madeline Soto. I've got good content. I've been talking to the roommate. I'm going to be doing an interview with her very soon. She's coming back on. So I have my dog is in the background, not snoring. It's 7:30 here and he's hungry. He's complaining to me. I fed my daughter before I hopped on, luckily, but the dogs are hungry. Okay. So we have a good episode. Breaking news. I didn't realize it was so breaking that the death penalty was coming for Stefan. Hashtag arrest Jen Soto. I'm here for Sebastian Rogers. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to cover this case, but I'm not going to cover this case with just a bunch of nonsense going on. I have no idea why I so laissez-faire. The point of disappearance at the Proudfoot's home under Katie's supervision. You look at the point of disappearance, and they're just not doing anything. They're searching for a body, but why is it not a criminal activity? Yes, give the dogs kisses and food. They need kisses and food. Cat snoring. Last time I blamed the snoring on my dog. It really is not my dog snoring, and it's not really my wife snoring. It was actually her last time. I'm only gonna bring you updates, Letitia, how you say it, Letitia Martinez, if it is solid or something that I think is usable. No drama. Okay. So that's not what we do on this channel. I do not do drama. Yeah, Jay's dog snores so loud. He's not snoring this time. He's hungry. Okay, so no drama. Think of this as a fun news station that reports on a real activity, and I interact with my audience. We have fun sometimes. We do reaction videos. We collaborate with real collaborators. I do like personally watching the every once in a while the spirit boxes on my own. I like watching the psychic shows by on my own, but I don't bring that stuff to the channel because I don't want to be labeled as a conspiracy theorist or like a weirdo that tries to incorporate that into the case. So if you're a member, we can always do members only, where we do something fun, where we find a psychic that I think is credible, and we like there's you're here, Carly, the lady, high paid lady. I don't know. I mean, she's crazy, but she has helped solve cases. Jay, you have been very credible, and I plan on staying that way. There's a few psychics that I follow, and I just don't bring it into my channel. It's summer, so I just may go outside. This is the best channel in chat. Thank you so much, I Am Two Bear. That means a lot to me, and I'm going to take my dogs outside because it is hot. I'm going to feed them, let them go potty. My daughter's on summer break. Finally, our house is going to get ripped apart this week, which is fantastic for me. You know what that means? That we're getting closer to getting the house rebuilt. Once it gets ripped apart, it's going to get rebuilt, and we're going to have almost a brand new house in San Jose, California. And you know what that means? It's going to be fantastic. Trust me. Our house is one of those houses that everybody's welcome to. If you don't have a family to go to for the holidays, we're that family. We're the ones that have the parties with the hot tub at the house and the kids' parties with the jumper. Okay, so a little bit about me that I'm telling. Yeah, Donna Serafina is one of them. So I have a lot of new members. I have a lot of new cool things. Carly, did you put up the? Did you put up the? Thank you, by the way. Congratulations. It means I'm coming for a visit. You should come visit once we're done. I have plenty of room. Plenty of room. There's the party at my house. I am the house that people come party at. Blessings. But I do want to show you there's some more merch up. And the reason I want to show you is because some of the day oneers are here and you're still welcome to get them. But if Sadie's mama is still here, um, if she's still here, we have the day one merch up. Hold on. It wasn't up earlier. I don't know if Carly fixed it, but you can still look at it. Blah, 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 blah. I showed you yesterday. Hold on. But there's some new stuff that we put in for the day one people. So, Sadie's mama, you'll be contacting. I really wanted to get you something out. I know your budget is, I understand, but I want to show you some stuff. Thank you, Bree, for dropping the link. Look at this cool stuff. So we did another design today, and hopefully it works when I click on it. Look at this. Look at this. Guilty of crime, and it's got the drops of blood with the blood underneath, and then it says Crime Crew Day Ones. Do you remember when we were talking about that, folks, for all the day ones? If Juror 13 was here, yeah, good news about the house. So we do have the store up with merch. Check this out. So we're doing as much as we can right now, but this is really cool. The stainless steel water bottles got the guilty of crime with the blood drops, and then you got the puddle. I started this channel with serial killers. Now we're doing missing people. I got a new logo out. It hasn't made it up to the product store yet, but this is the day one crime crew. And then we still got the other, the hat merch. If you hadn't seen it, that was really cool. I want one of those. The mug you can get in black if you want. I love black mugs. Those are cool. So yeah, just kind of wanted to show you, since you're all here now, that we've got some cool merch. The day one, yeah, that's the merch for you. Anybody that was in the beginning is anybody can get it, but we did do what we promised, and I was asked for this today. Carly delivered. I put the artwork together and she made this happen. So I thought this was really cool to walk around with a guilty of crime. We're all crime junkies here, and there's 111 in chat, which means angel. Let's say a prayer for Sebastian Rogers, folks. That stuff will get me arrested. No, it won't. I have other things too, but yeah, it's definitely smash the like button. There's a link. Enid, there's a link. It's Bree just dropped it in chat. So we now have a merch store. I'll also put it on my I'll also put it on YouTube. But I think it's really cool that we're making things happen. We do things that we say we're going to do, and we don't cover cases that aren't going to do anything or going to help find people. I just don't think that it makes any sense. Another thing, I want to show you one last thing. So crime, there's the store. There's the new merch store. It's Guilty of Crime. We have the Guilty of Crime link to it as well. There you go, Juror 13. I wanted you because I'm going to gift you a day one. Take a look at this. I want to get you a day one. Look at this. And then the back says Crime Crew Day Ones. Juror 13, you are my day one. What do you think about that, Juror 13? Let me know. That's especially for you. You sat there and listened to me when nobody else was. Sadie's mama, same thing. All right. So I really hope you guys like them. We're going to come up with more stuff, but I also have a new logo, and this logo is going to be for the people that don't want the big gay pride looking thing on there. Some people like it. Some people don't, which is cool. I have men in the group that don't want to rock a guilty of crime, the gay logo looking thing. So take a look at that. That's my new logo, and we'll rock that stuff out. So it's me with the mic. It says guilty of crime, and it's got the crazy background like I like. So we're going to have all of this stuff up. These are all badass. I wish I could have found you earlier. Well, you're still welcome to get the day one stuff. But yeah, we're doing that. I want everybody to be happy. I want guys to rock my apparel. I want girls to rock it. If you're in the LGBT community or you support it, either way, I just want to make sure that everybody has everything that they want. And I'm glad you love the logo. It's going to be dope when it's printed. So yeah, it looks cooler when you see it on the when you go on there right now. It's kind of rocking the thing, but you can see my piercings on there. If you look close into the glasses, there's actually skulls in the glasses. Look close, there's skulls. Those are my piercings. It says guilty of crime, and then I got the background. So we did what we promised. We came through, and we're going to keep doing that. Love is love, absolutely. And we are all about no drama and helping the missing and the voiceless with no voice. And we stay off conspiracy theories. So on that note, I've been here for a really long time. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you, Bree, for all you do every single day. Carly, thank you so much. Same to you. Thank you for getting the merch store up so quickly. And Davey, thank you. Always love just your presence. And Jojo, welcome to the Crime Crew moderator. It's going to be a big job, but I know you could do it. On that note, have a good night, everybody. I love each and every single one of you.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?